Yeah. Yeah, it's a big challenge for us because it's new. You know, we haven't been on the road yet, this 2016 team, so it's something we're definitely, excited about, but at the same time, we want to make sure we prepare the right way. The week's a little shorter, so a lot of new things involved this week. We got to make sure we do a really good job of taking care of the little things, and we've gotten off to a great start this week.
When you sit down and game plan with a guy like Kalen and all the different things he can do, does it make it exciting?
Yeah, it does. You know, he's got a really good skill set, and he's real intelligent, and he's a guy that cares a lot about it. He's really hard on himself, doesn't want to make a lot of mistakes, so he studies and prepares. And but I feel like we also got 3 or 4 other guys that are the same way. It just kind of fell right for him the other night. But yeah, he's definitely a guy we want to make sure we have a plan for.
Why is it so hard to win Kalen and Mario down? Why is it so
Yeah, I think they're determined runners more than anything. They're obviously physical skill set's good. They're big guys. They both can run, but I think they're determined runners. And they like to always fall forward, and I think that's important to being a good running back. Is that the mentality of I don't go down easy, and I want to make sure I finish every run, and they both do a pretty good job of that.
So everybody in the stadium knew when you guys lined up in that lock where it was going. How come they couldn't stop it?
Oh shoot, I don't know, man. We just kind of moved on from that game already. We're ready for next week, and it was a great game, but every game plan's different. So we just have to see what goes this week.
What's Tim White's status?
Tim White, it was better today. I think he's going to be fine, but we're definitely kind of taking a cautious approach with him. But he was out there in practice today, so feel pretty good about him right now.
Given you obviously a lot different. I think he's 10th in
yeah.
purpose yards.
Yeah, he's one of our guys now for sure. I mean, he's one of our top guys. I think Tim will do everything he can to be ready to go, and he's gotten off to a good start.
There was obviously no goal improvement by the whole offense, so it looks like the offensive line perhaps maybe the big jump from week 1 to week 2.
Yeah, definitely. Those guys played well. We had a little different combination going, and Coach Thompson did a great job of getting those guys in the right spot, and hopefully they'll carry over this week.
Do you expect the same combination this week too?
Yeah, pretty much, probably.
Are you holding the Kalen to higher standards now that you've seen his performance last week?
No, we hold him to a high standard. In fact, he holds himself to a high standard, so we don't really have to worry about that, I don't think.
What kind of challenges do you see from the Roadrunners this week on defense?
Yeah, they're really sound, really good. Pete Golding's their defensive coordinator. He's one of the best young defensive coordinators in the country. I worked with him at Southern Miss, so firsthand I've seen him. Obviously, that wasn't his defense at Southern Miss, but at the same time, he's a passionate guy. The players will play really hard for him. Very sound, very smart guy. So we definitely got a big challenge. All right, thanks.
How valuable was AJ last week in all the different roles that you had?
Well, he played 3 different positions, and graded out at linebacker as well as any linebacker we had. Just some little technical things, not carrying receivers, far enough or deep enough, which what do you expect? I mean, you just have to do what you got to do to win the game. And, the hard thing is when you got 3 of your top 4 linebackers out, it can pose a little bit of a challenge. So hopefully we can get those guys back and continue to get better.
Do you feel that the absent linebackers maybe contributed to a pass rush effort that probably wasn't up to par?
I think probably the ball coming out quick may have had something more to do with it. And plus, if you really watch all 12 games of Texas Tech the year before, LSU had a very difficult time getting to the guy and getting him on the ground. Getting to him is one thing. Getting him on the ground, he's a big kid. He just has a knack. I said that a week ago in this press conference that he's a challenge because he knows when to get rid of the ball. And if you read his comments, we had him confused, and there was just some lack of execution on our part, there that give him some cheap ones.
How would you go about defensive coordinating against guys like Kalen and Mario, which are probably 20 stops?
Oh boy, well, you better load the box. I mean, obviously, he's you got to get more in there than they can block. I can tell you that. And then, especially out of the Sparky formation, and you got to load it and just dare them to try to throw the football. But then you get into things like that where they got the quarterback still on the field where they can do some things with that as well. So it's definitely a challenge.
Why is it so hard to bring him down?
Well, I mean, one, he's like 230 pounds. He's almost 6'4", and physically he's just, he's a specimen. So, and he's got great balance. He's just a very physical runner, and I think that's where I've seen him improve the most since he's been here.
How how would you tackle?
I'd try to go through his hip, you know. We teach a rugby style tackle. That's what I would do. Because if you watch, most missed tackles come from when guys try to stay up high and they get slung off of guys like that. You're not tackling him up high. But on the other thing, if you go down to his feet, he has great feet. He's just going to move his feet. So you got to run through the hip and try to rugby style tackle him.
Keith, you've been doing this a long time. Have you ever come across a quarterback that hurdles players like Danny does?
I asked him if he was a hurdler in high school, and he said no. But I've never seen that. I mean, he just, you know, I'm not sure he has any. He might be completely made of cartilage. You know, he's pretty like limber, and but he's like Gumby. You know, I mean, but he just makes it look so natural. You know, I just, you know, you hold your breath, hope somebody doesn't catch him in midair. I remember Tony Dorsett coming to Oklahoma one time in 1976. He tried to hurdle one of the Oklahoma Sooners, and a guy by the name of Scott Hill introduced himself to him. So you probably Google that.
UTSA is the quarterback. What do you see?
You know, one of them is extremely, you know, he's a pretty good runner, brings some things to the table with the zone read, quarterback runs, and then, you know, the other one, haven't really seen him enough to make a complete, you know, evaluation on him. It seems like when he comes in a little bit, he's also a runner and maybe a little bit more accurate passer, but from what we've been able to tell the first two games.
What are some of the biggest differences back from this as opposed to this current version?
Well, the thing in preparing for Texas Tech, I mean, they're just so multiple, and what you can't prepare for is the speed in which it comes at you. So, you know, these guys are much more traditional. I mean, it's almost like watching a 2016 offense, and then when you come back and now you're watching UTSA, it's like you've gone back in time 10 years, just not being disrespectful, but just, you know, it's a little bit more methodical, pro style, pro formation, twins formation, two-back structures, and then they'll spread the field. But the thing that's so different about, you know, people like Tech, it's just the tempo. It's how fast they can get lined up, because they don't flip sides. They play right and left. So, man, they just have a system that is so unique, and it's a very difficult system, you know. And I thought you take the three plays where it just the walk-offs, man, that was the three that just makes you, you know, you're just like, wow, what happened? And if we'd eliminate that, man, I'd have felt great, because we'd have held them 34 points, you know. But that's what just the challenge that it presents, man, because they do go fast, they do line up fast, they get that a lot of times. Just cheap throws that just they throw it out there, guys uncovered. There you go.
What do you feel the secondary did different in the second half to have more success?
I think we just kind of went back a little bit more to what we traditionally do. Just said, hey, let's just play, because obviously our kids were a little bit discombobulated, you know, with alignments and getting the communication and things like that. So we just said, hey, let's just go play, and we did, and they settled down. I think we had 5 3-and-outs, 3 takeaways, you know. And it's almost like there was no in between. It was like, oh man, we played like really, really good, and then just like, oh my goodness, they punched us right in the face.
What you assess Brian Crump's first 2 weeks?
You know, it's, I think, and he'll tell you this, that it's just getting used to the speed of the game. Not only the players or the personnel, but the tempo in which offenses come at you with. And he's and we're going to do some things to try to help him and slow things down for him a little bit. But, you know, he's definitely a tremendous talent, and he definitely has a role on this football team. We just got to try to get it to where he feels like things are slowing down a little bit.